That's it. Alrighty, gang, we are here. We are going live. Yes, 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 yes. So guys and girls, particularly on Facebook, I just want to make sure that you can actually hear us. Please give me the signal that you can hear us. Instagram, they are coming in, guys and girls. So Facebook, we got YouTube there as well. Richard Mavisian, two of the best. There's your mate. Rich. Okay. Emil's coming on. Hey Tina, how you going? Good to see you all. Let's build this audience up. Guys on Facebook, Peter, can you hear us loud and clear? Fire up, GR. Okay, gang, do us a favor. Any real estate agent.
Dave Cohen. He's a very good buyer.
He's a good guy?
He's a ledge.
He's the guy that spoke at Eric Cohen?
No, he's an incredible buyer's agent as well. He's my boy, Simon. He's
right.
Incredible.
Okay, so gang, let's get this audience building up. Here it is. We're coming up. We got close to 100 there on Facebook. And today we are going to do a real estate focus rant. We're going to talk about, because at the moment, Gav, like it is hard, isn't it?
Really tough. It's an interesting time. Because I think what's going on is going to clear out a lot of the dead weight in the industry, and I'm excited for it.
Do you think there is dead weight?
A shitload of dead weight.
Right.
Yeah. And
you think that what's happened is over the last few years, the market's hidden how dead the weight was?
Well, I think you said it best. Like, I remember I consumed a lot of your content not too long ago. You said, when the tide swims out, you see who's swimming naked.
Correct.
And I think, a lot of real estate agents have been swimming naked. They've ridden on this kind of rise of the market. They don't know what a tough market is. Mentally, they're not prepared to deal with it. I mean, I just heard the other day, without kind of mentioning names, a young guy who got in not too long ago in a completely different office, about 5 years ago into the business, has since gotten out just in the last couple of weeks and moved back to, I think it's Terrigal. That he's from, and started a job, I think, selling TV. So, this is the beginning of lots of these stories that, we're going to hear. Okay.
So, gang, good numbers. So, who is this guy, in case you don't know? And very few people won't know him because, apart from the non-real estate audience, because there's a group of people here that aren't real estate. Right. So, let me just tell you a little bit about Gavin. So, I met Gavin about 9 years ago, and we did... we had a conversation, something to do with taking out marketing. Then we did a video not long afterwards, and I built a relationship, met you through training. In many ways, I was sort of doing informal training as a coach for you, always. Right? Yeah. And I just knew, I knew from day one that 100% this guy here is going to become the king of his field. Now, there is not a real estate agent at your age. Can I ask how old you are?
I'm 30.
30. There is not a real estate agent in Australasia that does the business that this guy does. And you've been in real estate now since, what, 22?
Since I was 20.
Since 20?
Yeah.
Okay. Before that, it was nightclubs in London, wasn't it?
Before that, it was nightclubs in London. Before that, it was a clothing store. Before that, it was Video Easy. And before that, it was McDonald's at 13. So I've fucking done it all.
And I'll tell you why I really, Gav, the one thing is, even in the hardest times, and I've had hard times through life, I keep my circle. I know all these people here are people I've got a connection with, but my inner circle is tight because I know deep down from the things people say and they don't say who's really in your corner.
Yeah.
And mate, the truth of the matter is, I wouldn't want to have, you're here tonight because I have massive trust, massive respect for you. And the reason why, Gav, is you are a metaphor. You are a metaphor that every person I speak to on Sunday Night Rant is about this. The past does not matter.
No.
Right? So you don't have to say, my parents fucked up and that's the reason why I'm fucked, or I was never given enough money, or my education was shit, right. or whatever. Right. You have been a metaphor that basically says, it's where you're going that matters more than where you've come from.
Yeah, look, I think better put, if you want it, go out and get it, period.
Mate, I want to ask you this question. Right now, you've told me numerous times over the last few weeks, last few months, last quarter, maybe last 5 months, this has been a super challenging marketplace.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, how are you dealing with this? How are you dealing with this marketplace? I mean, some prices in your area have dropped 10, 15?
Yeah, it's around about. I mean, I would say anywhere between 10 and 20%, depending on the price point.
So you've got vendors now that look at you daily, weekly. What's happening?
Hourly.
Hourly.
I actually just got to go ahead on a listing on my way coming here, so I'm in a great mood. So it's just like non-stop. You know, Sunday night, I was kind of chasing it all day. Not a massive listing either, you know, $1.5 million listing, but those small fish, they taste sweet, right? And it all adds up at the end of the day.
You know, you're talking to some people here whose the highest price in the area is $680,000.
Yeah, well, I'll take those as well,
mate. So can I ask you? so tell me, how are you dealing with this market?
Look, there's a couple of strategies. Like, number one is positive, optimistic attitude. Like, I genuinely believe that's a strategy. That's not some bullshit like The Secret where you just sit back, say and hope for the best to happen. It's, you know, I've got the belief that if you have two salespeople, right, and they both put in the same amount of work and or have the same strategy, the one with the positive and optimistic attitude versus the one who's saying the market's fucked, the market's bad, you know, nothing's happening, has got a much better chance, the positive one, of getting the deal done. And, you know, I'm implementing that from the top and the team is feeling it all the way down, and it's making a difference.
Okay, so Gav, what you just said to me is, it's not just a furry idea, it's a strategy. Does that mean it requires work to stay, like, is that what it means?
Well, how can it not when, you know, you've gone or everybody is just coming out of a period where things are a lot smoother and they are now more turbulent? That's a shift. And I think any sort of negative shift and or change is going to be challenging, and to remain positive constantly through not only that, but the ups and the downs, the rigors in real estate, it requires work. Energy management, which everyone hears me bang on the bloody door about every time I talk, is to me one of the most important things at the moment with regard to maintaining that
okay,
attitude.
can I ask you, it's now 8:30, 8:45.
Right.
You're going to drive home. It's going to take you like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get home.
Right.
What time will you go to sleep?
As soon as I go home. This is late for me for a Sunday.
Really?
Yeah.
So what, like, tell me, can I ask you what you did today?
Yeah, of course. So I woke up, I went to spin class at 8:15. Then I did another gym session for about half an hour. I met Jerome in the office. We spent a couple of hours in there just together, going back and forward. Went home, watched the NBA basketball game. It was the Lakers.
Who do you follow?
I'm a Lakers fan.
Okay, so the game's live, is it?
The game was live, yeah.
Okay, can I ask you, what time did you go to bed last night?
Last night I was in bed at about 9:30.
Saturday night?
Yeah.
But I get the impression you're like fucking, you know, Hollywood fucking, you go out at, don't you go out at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock?
Not really. Look, I mean, I've got a big event coming up Friday, which we're going to talk about. Got to stay sharp, got to stay focused at the moment. So there's not much of that. Yeah.
So you go to bed early and you wake up, and tomorrow what time will you wake up?
Alarm goes off 4:45, which a lot of people know, and then in the gym 5:30, yeah.
Okay, so can I ask you, energy management to stay real estate fit in this market? So you're saying energy is important?
I think energy management, in addition to that stuff, waking up early, staying sharp, not getting blind drunk, taking on business that is going to show you a return on your time and energy at the moment is key. Like, I've never turned away as much business as I have in the past month, because a lot of the properties I'm seeing or walking into and or being called into or getting through the door through methods of various prospecting, their head's in the clouds with regard to kind of what they want. And I'm not prepared to put in the time, effort and energy into these properties if I'm not going to see a return on them. And I'm not saying I'm right all the time. Like, I'm definitely wrong, and some will be missed. And
because Gav, isn't there a possibility sometimes the head's in the cloud, but the motivation that's hidden, they won't bring it up to you? Like, is it possible that someone's getting divorced and have their heads in the cloud?
Look, I mean, it's very possible, but I think ultimately, at the end of the day, at the moment, I would rather list 5 that have a high chance of selling than 10 to stand at the door for the other 5 and not have them sell. Because what happens then is you get into a bit of a rut. You start to question, what am I doing? Am I not as skillful as I used to be? Is it my fault? you start to question all of these things where if you list less and you sell or have a better percentage rate of that, your energy remains high, your positivity remains high, and it kind of snowballs into what you're going to do next. Does that make sense?
Does it make sense? It makes a lot of commercial sense, because what you're saying is work out who the ideal client is, and say that's best practice. This is the ideal client. Realistic, motivated, investing in marketing, fair fee. That's my ideal client. Right? And what you're saying is, all of a sudden, this marketplace makes it more important for you to get high probability deals done than you getting emotionally drained by listing every overpriced thing. I get that. I get that. So let me ask you, you work, like, do you work Sundays, most Sundays, or today was just a...
My phone's always on, man. You could never not reach me on that phone. New phone call, I say it all the time, it's an opportunity. As a real estate agent, I get pumped when my phone rings. I picked up a girlfriend last night, went for an early dinner.
Is she like a proper girlfriend?
No, right. just a friend.
Right, okay. So I mean, I'm curious about your life.
Right. Let's talk about real estate. Right. So I picked up a girlfriend, and we're driving to dinner, and my phone rang, and it was someone making an inquiry. And it was one of these ridiculous inquiries, but I still picked up the phone, and I hung up the phone. She said, "That's crazy. How many phone calls like that do you get? And you pick them up all the time? Like, don't people have respect? It's like 6:45, 6:30 on a Saturday night." I said, "You know what?" I said, 6-7 years ago, I used to pray for my phone to ring. So when a phone rings, I pick that phone up.
It's not an inconvenience.
It's like, look, it's not. It's not. And as we're getting into the tougher market and more challenging conditions, it's back to the damn basics, man. It's grind, it's hustle, it's let's, not that I ever stopped that, but it's let's get creative around getting deals together. And that phone call could be the buyer. There are buyers out there, lots of them, because the numbers are still coming through, but the ones who are committing and moving, it's taking a little while longer. So I want to make sure that every opportunity, I'm doing my best to capitalize on it.
All right, Gav, you're going to hang around the whole rant now, because we're going to talk about a few things. But gang, let me just say, while it's fresh in my mind, I've got to cover this, Susan, and that is, Gav, you may have seen the post that I put on Instagram where I said, "Fuck it, this is what's got me through some situations in life." And I had one person in particular take offense to it, and I want to go over it, Gav. Right. Like for me in life, when a lot of the times, by the way, when I'm swearing, Susan knows it's an internal mechanism in my head about how I feel about something. I'm not saying you're a fuckhead, though sometimes I do think that, but a lot of the times it's fuck it, right? Yeah. Now, I've got to give you a couple examples of the times where I say fuck it. It's been the thing that helped me through. I'll explain it. Have you ever been in a situation in a relationship where you just know it's not a speed hump, it's now a brick wall?
Yeah.
That's a fuck it, right? Fuck it, it's not working. Right. Okay.
That's every one of my past relationships, by the way.
Well, correct, isn't it? Otherwise, you wouldn't have been going out with this girlfriend last night. So, but then we talk about, I've noticed, Susan, YouTube's must have frozen, but that's all right. It doesn't really matter because we can upload the video. But Gav, the other ones that fuck it is, I want to explain this concept of a speed hump versus a brick wall. Sometimes it's a speed hump. You can get over it. You just go harder. You try harder. You'll find a way. It's persistence. Other times, what it is, Gav, it's actually a brick wall. Right. Like you might, for instance, there could be people watching this right now that are not suited to being in real estate, and that's a brick wall. Do you think that's the case? Do you think some people are not suited?
I think there's a lot of people who aren't suited to it. A lot of people. The swearing thing, like, I don't know. Look, I swear from time to time. My mum used to hate when I would swear. She still hates when I swear. My dad swears a little bit. I think. Look, it's part of kind of.
Do you swear while you in your language, like when you're talking to your boys?
Yeah, look, I don't really want to do it. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, Gav, we're on social media. Look at this. Look at that. Good numbers here, Susan. Press that share button. You know what I like. Share. Gav, I want to talk to you. We're talking by the end of the next 2-3 days, collectively, there's going to be thousands and thousands of views. Right. Susan, you know what? With the YouTube, because it's a bit distracting, it's just going around in circles. I would just turn it off.
How good is Susan?
How good
and important is it to have good people around you? Do you know how, and I'm going to swear, fucking incredible my team is? You know my team, right? Jerome Srot, Oliver Lavers, that guy's a machine. Kai Thomas, Remy, these guys are animals. They are the best I have ever seen in the industry, and they are only getting better. It's shocking what not only they're doing now, but what they're going to do. I'm excited. So anyone out there, right, who wants to take it to that next level, particularly now, and I say it more than ever, these are the strategies you need to employ.
Have an epic team.
Build that team. I'm nothing without those guys.
Okay, and I have to say, I have never, ever, ever seen an incredible agent without having an epic team behind them. So, are they watching? By the way, if you are watching, there's Oliver there.
Yeah, he's a guy.
Good news, Oliver. Your job's safe, right? Fantastic,
I'm
right?
gonna start working for him very soon.
Man, but they're all nice people, but your team's always so nice. Like they're look at that. Angela Kingscliff, Gav is hot.
Hey,
right?
hey, girl.
Yeah,
Hey, girl.
Yeah. What about fucking me? All right. Okay. So Josh is saying Tom Ford socks. Man, love it. But by the way, sorry for not saying hello to everyone here today. Hello, Mario. So Gav, can I talk about this social media? Right.
Yeah.
Instagram is your thing. Instagram's your thing, right? Video's your thing, like your video, Instagram.
Yeah.
You post on everything. Now, tell me, how important is Instagram? How important, like, is social media? And do you do it, or do other people do it for you?
No. So I personally manage all of my social media accounts. I get assistance with and through Remy, who's my EA. Why I like having her assistance is because she came from a non-real estate background. And I think as salespeople and or even real estate agents, sometimes we can cross that line of being a little bit too cheesy. And she's my non-real estate perspective to say yes, no, a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. Outside of that, the concepts and the visions and the stuff I put out is all kind of up there.
Is it important?
I think it's extremely important, but I think perspective on it is everything, right? So there are people who are either in the game and or getting into the game and think like it's the answer. Like social media is the answer. If I work social media and just focus on that, it's going to get me listings, it's going to get me deals, and I can have a good real estate career. That's bollocks, right?
So you don't think it's a substitution? You think it's a complementing thing?
I think it's a string to the bow, right? And I think it's becoming, here's the thing, it's becoming day by day more important. As we get kind of, every day it's becoming more powerful. About a month ago, I sold a house for $6.5 million at auction. There were 5 people bidding. The highest bidder saw a story I put up of the house, text me the Saturday before, this house looks fantastic, where is it? I haven't seen it. Sent her the address, come through, check it out. She bought it on Thursday. Like, bear in mind, right, I've been building this thing now for years. So it's up at a level where the following is that sort of quality, and it's targeted to buyers, sellers, other real estate agents, and so on. But when you put in the time, effort, energy, and you get it to a point, it can be unbelievably beneficial.
Favorite platform for you?
I'd say Instagram, yeah. I'd say Instagram, yeah.
Okay, so Gav, you're saying to me that a lot of the posts have come through your fingers? You've posted them?
Not a lot of them.
Right. All of them.
All of them.
And gang, on this point, I want to touch on this point because
that takes time, man.
Of course it does.
It takes time.
But all good things take time. But Gav, what I was going to say is a lot of people think that you pretty much outsource everything.
Yeah, I get that all the time, right?
But you are obsessed with your own videos because a lot of people turn around and say, oh, who's a video company? Oh, they'll do that for me. Yeah. But you, in fact, I know from a number of people that have done videos for you, like over the last 5 years. Right. You are many times the architect of a lot of those, you know.
100%. I'm obsessed with being the best. And I think if you want to be the best, you need to take control and you need to execute. You need to do it yourself to get there and focus on your strengths. And so for some reason, it seems to be a strength. I have the vision, and with a good media company, they can help me execute. At the moment, I'm working with these guys, ex-media from Brisbane, exclusively. The stuff they're putting together, whoo! It's just about thinking, how can I stand out? How can I, be different so that people will notice me, because a lot of people are doing some of the same videos now. It's about finding what you're good at, what stands out, what people respond well to, and exploring.
Can I ask you still got a driver for Saturdays?
On a Thursday and a Saturday.
Thursday, Saturday.
Yeah.
You got someone that drives you, you get out, do your opens.
Yeah.
Can I ask you your callbacks on when do you get those done? Saturdays? Mondays?
Yeah.
All day?
Monday all day. And a vendor report to every single one of my vendors, Monday evening. Not negotiable. That's never changed. Monday evening, if I'm running a campaign, they get a report outlining who has come through, what they've said, the good, the bad, the ugly, not sugar-coated at all. You know, I want the vendors to have all of the information to make an informed decision, particularly now. Like now more than ever, everything I've been talking about for the last 5-6 years with you has become paramount. It's really important now.
Gav, one of the things that agents are saying to me is that they're getting emotionally drained, having only negative stuff to say to people all the time.
But this is what I'm saying. This is the thing. This is positivity, and it's like that requires work. So, you know, focusing on the stuff that is gonna bring positive energy to your life is gonna help you deal with that. It's important, right? And so me, I know that when I get listings and when I get sales, I'm like, I feel like Superman, mini Superman. Like it gives me a lot of great energy. So if I'm going to take on a property that I know is not going to sell because they're way overpriced with regard to their expectations, it's going to have the opposite effect. And that's why I stick to what I'm likely to sell, which again fuels me onto the next one and being able to maintain that center positivity.
Well, I've got to say, Gav, the same applies with prospecting. I always say to agents, start with your high probability prospecting calls, because there's nothing better than having wins and momentum to get you through the next hour or two.
And you got to be ruthless around it. Like my guys, you know, Kai and Ollie who work with me, they're their own agents who work with my team. We sell everything in conjunction. And Kai and I walked into a house on Friday. You just got to be so ruthless and direct. Just so honest, you know, which a lot of vendors can't take. This property had been on the market for about 8 weeks. We sat down and we had a tour of the house, and like it's in my price point and in my area. I mean, I know value pretty well there. Again, doesn't mean I'm right all the time, but I know it pretty well. So I said to the vendor, what do you think the house is worth? Like, what do you want for it? She says, without mentioning addresses or anything, she says, I want 7 million. And I said, right. And I looked over to Kai, and because it's important that my guys are on the same path and we have the same style and we work together. So I said, Kai, what do you think it's worth? And he said, I think it's worth high sixes. And in front of her while she was sitting there, and I said, based on what? And he was like shocked. And I said, it's not worth high sixes. I said, this is a 5-handle property.
So you're having this conversation with your co-agent?
With my partner. And I said, it's not. I said, this is a 5-handle property. That doesn't mean I don't wish you would get 7.
Sorry, you've missed me with the jargon. 5-handle, what's that mean?
It's a 5 something.
5 something.
Whether it's 5.5 or 5.
So this conversation's in front of the vendor?
In front of the vendor. And it's basically telling her that what she wants for the property, I don't think it's even close. Doesn't mean I'm right. And I said that to her as well. I said, look, it doesn't mean I'm right. I said, but at the end of the day, based on what's sold in the last 8 weeks, and I'm going to all the auctions, I'm looking at all the prices, like I'm so close to it, I study it. I like live and breathe this shit. You know what I mean?
So you believe the day of giving people false hope, now's not the time to be doing that?
Definitely not. You've got to be optimistic, and anything can happen because no one has a crystal ball. You don't know who's around at the time, and you need to always talk about the possibility of that competitive environment being produced, because that's when you're going to influence people's perception of the value. However, it'd be remiss of me to have told that woman, yes, I believe the value is in line with where you want it. Agents need to focus now more than ever.
But someone's going to go in there and tell them 7.5.
100%. And they can stand there for the next 6 months to be disappointed. I'm not that guy.
Right.
Particularly now.
Okay, so one of the things I'm getting out of this conversation, Gab, is what you're saying is become myopic to do business that energizes you. Yeah. And business that's going to energize you is high probability business, stuff that's either going to have the following. It's got a realistic vendor, a motivated vendor, it's got a fair fee. I mean, you don't want to get screwed and doing things, probably good marketing and nice people. It does help that they're nice people, doesn't it?
I love when I get a lot of guys who are great. Actually, I get a lot of fantastic clients. I've become friends with a lot of the guys I work with. It just makes the process beautiful.
But you still do, obviously, look, you must get motivated, realistic vendors that are nice people and motivated, realistic vendors that aren't nice people.
You know what I say to people when I first meet them? I say, my main objective here, like my number one goal is to maximize the value of your asset. If I can make a friend in that process, it's a bonus. But that's not my number one.
I like that, Susan.
That's you ask my guys. Sometimes the boys, they get a little bit back around how transparent and just direct I am with people. But aside from being a salesperson, I'm a businessman. And time and energy is our currency as real estate agents. We need to invest that currency wisely.
Okay. So, gang, I'm letting you know that, and we've got everyone, we've got a great audience in there. Really good numbers here, Gav. On Friday, and this is good, by the way, this is not a commission breath advertisement. This is from the heart, not from the mouth, okay?
I like that commission breath.
And this is it. Gav, I'll tell you what I notice about some seminars. Right. Some seminars, what they do, and we'll go through them. Some seminars, they get you in for free, and then they try and sell you a $4,000 package. Yeah. That's the way they do it.
Yeah.
Then there are other seminars that would have happened this week with Gary Vee, and I'm going to be very transparent because I work in the education business and I know how it works, and I'm approached on various times to cut joint ventures, and it's not my thing. So what they do is they go and outlay big money, and they get someone like Gary Vaynerchuk, and they pay him $150 maybe, thereabouts, and he's worth every cent.
Every cent.
You saw it. Incredible speaker.
Best speaker, delivery, articulation, just the best I've ever seen.
Okay, so Gary Vee flies over from the US, speaks at a conference here last week, 2,000 people, but before Gary Vee goes up, there's all these snake oil salesmen, and I shouldn't say that because they might sue me, but let's just turn around and say these people had an intention to sell packages, and they're selling product. And what actually happens is that many of these speakers, I'm not saying that happened at this event, but I can tell you that the model works this way. Some of these speakers actually pay to get the audience. Yeah. So they pay to be on the program. So that's one kind of event. Then you've got another kind of event where you've got a 2-day event where you go to ARIC, you have a bit of a break, you're in a room with 3,000-4,000 people, and then you've got, hybrid different events. Now, the event that you've got on Friday, which I spoke at last year, and I spoke at this year, and it's one of the few times, Gav, that I turn around and say to myself, commercially, don't worry, I'm not going to do a deal there because I'm happy that my real estate gym members will get some sort of value add, and we've cut a deal there that allows my real estate gym members to get a much cheaper rate. So the event is this Friday, and it's called What It Takes.
What It Takes Part 2.
Part 2. Last year was Part 1. It's on Friday, and where's the venue?
It's at the venue in Alexandria, and I'm not just saying this because I'm biased, right? We've had the conversation. If I were to put the amount of time that I did into, getting bundles of tickets sold for this, into listing real estate, I'd 10-20x my money, right? This is an energy builder.
You like this? It energizes you because I can tell you, I can do the numbers. I know what it costs per person at a venue, right? Like you're roughly talking about a cost of about $100, right? So you get 400 people, right? The money is there's very little profit in that, right?
Look, it is, I think, this year one of the best lineups I've ever seen.
Apart from me opening it, go through the speakers.
Okay, so you've got Alexander Phillips, who is, he's
REB top number 100 agents.
He is spectacular. I don't say that about anyone in the industry. That boy is a machine. He is incredible.
And he spoke last year?
He didn't speak last year. Him and Prue were speaking, so she's his right hand, and just they're incredible. We've got Michael Clark and Hummel. Again, another guy. I respect this guy immensely. He is fantastic, just in terms of...
So who is it? Alex Phillips that's speaking with Prue?
Alex Phillips with Prue.
With Prue, the two of them?
Yep. You've got Michael Clark and Hummel. He's a principal there. He writes a shitload of business. Michael Coombs, number 1 McGrath Lower North Shore.
Yeah.
Champion mindset. What a damn guy. Marty Fox, White Fox. Steve Carroll, fantastic insights from him. You've got my team doing a whole Q&A. You've got Adrian Bowe. You've got Simon Cohen from Cohen Handler, who was one of the best speakers at ARIC, I thought. The amount of value that people are going to get from this day, again, in this climate, I understand cash is tighter for a lot of real estate agents. You need to be spending your cash on this.
Okay,
that's
so,
what's going to change.
So, Gav, how much is a ticket? $300?
A ticket's $300. Yeah.
Okay, and a real estate gym member. So, if you're a real estate gym member right now, listen very carefully. You email info@tompanos.com.au.
You cut a special deal.
And you've got.
He loves his real estate gym members.
Right, you guys are getting like. It's a no-brainer. So you must email info@tompanos.com.au, right? Now, if you're not a real estate gym member...
If you're not a real estate gym member and you're watching it now, we're going to offer you 20% for the next 24 hours.
20% off.
20%
So you
off.
take 20% off 300, that's whatever that is. What's 20% off 300? 10% is 30, $60. So that takes them $240 for a day training. And then there's a party.
No brainer.
You got a party after?
We've got an after party after. We're getting you to the after party. I'm going to feed you some tequila.
Okay, so Gav, is the party for everyone?
Well, it's actually going to be only 250 people will fit, so it's going to be first come first.
All right, so Gav, this is the first time we'll be going out since 1998. So I'm going to go, guys, I'm going to go out there when you're coming to Perth, Gav. There's a few people there. So Susan, to make it nice and easy, under the comments on Facebook and Insta, put down the link.
I pinned it.
What's that?
I pinned the link.
You've pinned the link. Okay, so that's all done. info@tompanos.com for real estate gym members. That's the end of the commercial. But I've got to say to you, Gav.
What's the promo code for 20% off?
WIT20.
The promo code for 20% off is WIT20. It's going to be in the comment section. And where do they go to actually buy a ticket?
I put the link in there.
You put the link in there. Thank you so much, Susan. So, and Gav, you're speaking, right?
Yeah.
You're speaking?
I'm doing a bit of it's a different approach this year. I'm doing a Q&A for about an hour with Mark McLeod, who's the CEO of Growth for Ray White, also awesome. And then I'm going to do a Q&A with the crowd so I can ask for whatever they want. But the questions this year have been very differently designed. Like, it's not the typical, how many prospecting calls do you make? What's your ideal week? None of that crap. I mean, people by now know that I'm a fastidious prospector. It's more so, you know, what's become important today with the changing climate, how we're dealing with it, and we're reverse engineering that whole process in severe detail.
I just thought about it, Susan. You know what we should do? This is what we should do.
I feel like she hates when you say that.
No. This is what we should do. Gang, what we're doing is this. If you're not a real estate gym member, Susan, open the doors tonight, right? It would be crazy for us not to think about that, right? Because that way, you know, we get a sale, he gets a sale, right? So realestategym.com.au, open the doors up, and that way you'll be able to also get that incredible deal, which is unbelievable. Guys and girls, I'm going to finish up on this point. Gav, you know what? You know, Susan, because I've been talking a lot about this politically incorrect stuff, can I ask you this question? Do you think it's politically incorrect if I say Asians are terrible drivers?
I'm a female Asian driver. I'm shitty at driving.
Okay, so all this thing about politically incorrect, hey, let me tell you, it is a fact. Google it. And the reason why that a lot of people that came from Asia, think about it, they weren't using cars, so it took longer for them to drive. And then I'm thinking to myself, what else is politically incorrect? I know this sounds terrible, right? And I'm only saying...
No.
I can't say that?
No, he's not going to say that.
Okay, fucking Gav's probably just fucking saved my life. I'm ripping it up, Susan. I'm ripping it up. But guys and girls, I'll tell you what I'm really, really fed up with. And I'll tell you what I'm fed up with is this. So people are very sensitive with a lot of issues. And I went, this is what it was all about, Gav. I went in to do a workshop. I said, hey guys, let's get cracking. A girl got up and she says, I take offense to that, and walked out. And I sort of freaked out. I thought to myself, fuck me dead. Like, is this for fucking real? So what I did is I thought to myself, I went and asked people, random people at a cafe, would you get upset if I said, hey guys? Very few people would get, you know, upset at that. And this is, by the way, this is not a gender issue, because let me be very clear. I would have to say that from a very young age, because I ended up having one of my closest friends was gay, right? And he confided to me, and he was like, and so I understood that you could be, like from a young age, like from the age of 13, that you could be gay, but you're exactly like another person. So I never understood that concept, right? But what pisses me off is, anyway, all I'm saying is, until you get punched in the face with a real fucking problem, maybe it's going to upset you if someone says, hey guys. And as far as I'm concerned, and I've said it before, the ABC TV, and I'm not using this as a platform to have a go at them, you're an absolute disgrace. You are an absolute disgrace. Think about it, there are 6 million kids, Gav, under the age of 5. He doesn't know what to say here. There are 6 million kids under the age of 5 that are dying each year, right? Dying each year.
What's this about?
Right, the fucking ABC is putting on the Diversity Council every fucking day saying it is offensive to use the term guys, that girls will find that offensive, and transgender. If you're transgender and you're watching this, you tell me whether you find it offensive. But on that point, guys and girls, we're going to finish off. I'm letting you know, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'm going to be, by the way, I'm going to be there on Friday morning, and I'm going to hang out with you.
You're opening the show.
And I'm opening up the show, and I'm going to be delivering scripts and dialogues and content. Like right now, you know that there's a very good chance, like I reckon, Gav, I'm one of the few speakers that can actually go off and speak and say a different thing to a different audience, right? And I'm going to actually tell you, like right now, I think the sort of conversations you must have with your vendors is, you got a vendor that's turning around and saying, you know, what's happening, you know, look at this, where's the feedback? I said it yesterday, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, it's not your fault. It's not my fault. Who was to know the market was going to change so violently, so suddenly? But don't stress, the gap's the same. In fact, if you're upgrading, I've got good news. Your home would have got 2 million a year ago. It's getting 1.7. The one you're buying, you know, you would have paid 3.5. You're only paying 3. You're in fact ahead. But why do most people don't get it? Because there's this theory called loss aversion, Gav. People hate losing what they've got in their pocket. But I think if you're a good deal maker and you know how to put a deal together and you can actually sell people emotionally, everyone wins. By the way, I'm going to finish on that point. Guys and girls, this has been Gavin Rubinstein. Thank you so much. The links are there. Susan, anything else to say? Signing off, and remember, be you, but be your best you. God bless you.